My very special guest today, joining us from Orange, Texas, Dr. Jackie Mayfield. You all know with Make Your Move, I am obviously a realtor. I love helping people to find their first home, their move up home, get involved investing in real estate. But I'm also very passionate about helping people and encouraging people to make your move with whatever it is, whether it's starting a business, losing weight, gaining weight, trying something new, whatever it is that you want to do in life. So today, we're going to share a little bit of information about an entrepreneurial opportunity. We know that in business and as an entrepreneur, it's always very, very important to make sure that you keep adequate and diligent records tax wise. And then we also want to make sure that we are using effective tax strategies. So, today, Dr. Mayfield is going to share with us an opportunity in the tax industry to become an entrepreneur, to have your own business and generate additional streams of income. Whether you decide to make it your full time, how you want to run your business, a full time business, or if you want to make it a part time opportunity. So, we've been having some technical difficulties, so hopefully everything is going to run smoothly and we will be able to hear Dr. Mayfield. Can you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you, and then we'll talk a little bit about the opportunity.
Yes, thank you very much, Latrice. Of course, I'm Jackie Mayfield. I been a serial entrepreneur all of my life. I've been approximately um, 50 years in business. I've never had a job. I've always been self-employed, and I've been able to develop several successful companies. One of being Compro Tax, who started in 1982, which is a 43-year-old company. And what we've been able to do is sort of have a unique system that whereas we're able to develop successful people in business by using tax knowledge and tax preparation and bookkeeping as a facilitating process. We've been able to make, over the 43 years we've been in business, create over 8 multimillionaires through our companies. We have quite a number of folks who are successful full time with us, and we do have about a little over 100 offices in the nation. At one time, we were up to around 250 offices, but because of various things, COVID and attrition normally, and our people grew old with us, and now we're in a move to recruit again and to develop folk and open the doors of opportunity to our company. And we have a very strong mentoring program and coaching program that walks people through the process without be costing them a lot of money to do so.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. Can we go back a little bit? And I remember this part of your story that you've never had a job. You've always been an entrepreneur. Is that something that was in your family? Or did you just, growing up, you were like, this job thing isn't for me? How did you become a serial entrepreneur that never had a job?
Well, it was sort of by default. I started school in first grade and went all the way to the 10th grade and joined the civil rights movement out of Bogalusa, Louisiana, and got involved in um, the activism there. And I left school in the 10th grade to devote my time in that area. And as a result of doing so, it happened about, let's say, 2.5 year sojourn on that trip. And then I was asked to move to Texas with my sibling because my mother passed away at age 33 of 9 children. And I was raised by my grandparents. And of course, when my mother passed, the other 8 siblings came to live with us, and we were already not poor but poor. And so you brought another 8 mouths to feed and to support, then you became much, much more poorer. And as a result, the stress of my grandmother on her exacerbated her diabetes, and she ended up in a few years passing away. So we
Mm.
became a product of a community raising. So my activism caused me not to get a job. So my grandfather, who was a very wise man, said that I was made in the image of God, and that's an image of creativity, because God spoke everything into existence. From the mind of God came the universe, and that you can do anything because God is in you, and you are not just Jackie, you are also Jackie and God, uh, as an extension of God on earth. So my first business was when I moved to Texas. I'm sort of abbreviating the story because it's a long story. Um, when I got to Texas, I met my wife to be. Didn't wasn't looking to get married,
Oh, you
uh, but,
froze.
because of, I guess, my freshness, I ended up
Oh,
impregnating
let's
a young
see.
lady that
Hopefully it'll come
had
back
my
in.
come back in.
Dr. Mayfield, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. You froze for a second. I lost you at when you said you met my, so I'm not sure who it is that you met.
Okay, my wife to be,
Wife to be. Okay.
because she got pregnant, and I ended up getting married at 17 and a half years of age. And so basically, I was running away from the tyranny of that event out of Bogalusa, Louisiana. I don't know if you're familiar with the unrest that took place in Bogalusa, but Bogalusa was a hotspot of civil rights movement.
Hmm.
It was a Deacons for Defense was formed in order to protect the marchers in the community from the clans. So it was sort of a military operation that I became part of, that as a foot soldier. And I ended up with the FBI Darcy on me, so I couldn't get a job, and it forced me to become self-employed. And so at that point, I realized that in retrospect, I'm free at last, you
That's
know,
right.
because I started my first business as a mechanic. I was an automatic transmission specialist,
Hmm.
and my own business at age 21. And I bought my first home and first new car before I was age 22. And by the time became 25 years of age, I went into the insurance business. That wasn't a debit time, kind of that time, debit type of that era. I was into the $100,000 volume premiums selling to black folk, which was unheard of at the time, and also annuities, buy the term and invest the difference, pretty much, even before A.L. Williams came along. I started company tax in 1982 as a way to get more sales in the insurance business, because I developed what is called a human life value analysis that will determine what a person's death to their family would be worth financially in
Hmm.
the event of that death now. And I calculated that, and I needed certain personal information in order to get that. And how my voice coming across now?
You're all good.
All right. And so as a result of the human life value analysis, um, company tax sort of took off beyond our imagination. And I started in 1982 as a sole proprietorship and incorporated it in 1984. And in 1984, we began to bring other people in. We have three additional founders with us. I was the initial brainchild of it, but because I had representatives like regional directors that worked with me in the insurance business, we brought them in with me. And the rest is history, pretty much. We uh, I never had to look back, and uh, we became very successful. We spent a lot of money in the communities. We made big investments into Mata, And in fact, we spent almost a $500,000 into the formation of Montauk. I don't know if you've ever heard of Montauk, but that's the late Ken Bridges. That was an economic movement of creating a distribution, a network distribution for sales for Black manufacturers and entrepreneurs. And he got killed by the DC sniper and sort of killed the movement. There's a long story behind that, which I won't go into exactly, but I can send you some things to look at. But then Mr. Dudley, Joe Dudley, uh, I was able to, fortunate enough, help him financially once he got into some financial trouble. He was helped by Dr. Lomax, which was a billionaire uh, out of Philadelphia, Dr. Lomax, who was a Black doctor who had the opportunity to be the doctor for King when he was in that area. Um, so my sojourn has brought me to meet a lot of different people in
Mhm.
my life. That's some are very prominent now, and but it's all about self-sufficiency, self-determination, and I've been brought up in that era of do for self,
Mhm.
and not have to worry about other people who don't like you to give you something.
Mhm. Mhm.
I've been pretty fortunate in the 50 something years I've been in business to do that. I've had my ups and downs. I've had my fights with our government because anybody who uh, take on the mantle of being successful as a Black businessman that's going to empower other Black folk and not only empower them financially, but empower them culturally and spiritually to do for self, that becomes a threat to our status quo in America. And
Mhm.
so I've had many challenges, but I won't go into that. I could be a very, very, very rich man if they'd left me alone, but then I live a moderate life. My home is paid for, my cars are paid for, I, uh, because I don't want to ever be put in a position where I can be, um, how can I say, forced into because of necessity to do something against my principles.
Mhm. Mhm. That's very important. So, thank you for sharing that story. I do. So, you said you left school at 10th grade, but I know that you are now Dr. Jackie Mayfield. So, it seems like you made that transition back to school. And then I promise we're going to get into the business, but I'm always, fascinated by people's life stories. So,
That's good. I can tell you about the doctoral ship. First of all, I am an autodidact. I don't know if you're familiar with the word
could you,
autodidact.
oh, there we go. You came in. Could you repeat what you just said?
I am an autodidact.
Okay.
And that word was termed, when you read the Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson, that's a person that is self-learned and self-taught.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was a straight A student when I left school,
Mm-hmm.
and I've never had a problem learning anything. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like a sponge. So all of the businesses and all of the things I've created was as a result of the mind that God gave me, because I really believe in the creativity aspect of things. So
Mm-hmm.
this was not a earned doctorate; it's an honorary doctoral degree
Okay.
that was given to me for developing over 400 successful entrepreneurs in America. And so
Well learned.
it was pretty much, and also I mentored quite a number of young uh, boys and girls who are successful, because I believe in giving back.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, so better. Bottom line, I'm self-educated.
All
Mhm.
right. Thank you for sharing that. And that is the way. So it's not just about getting somebody else's letters. So I appreciate you sharing your story and your history. So now let's talk about you talked a little bit about the business, how where it was before, and then where it is now, and you're looking to provide this opportunity. Why is it so important? Why is entrepreneurship so important? And then, well, yeah, let's start with that. Why is entrepreneurship so important?
Very good question, Latrice. The reason it's very important, especially as it relates to us as African American people, is because business drives everything in America. We live in a capitalistic society, and you're either going to be rewarded by it or victimized by entrepreneurship and the lack of. So this is an entrepreneurial economy now. If you look at the current administration, and just didn't start with them, but is more exacerbated now than ever before of laying people off. AI is a big thing now, where people who used to have certain jobs is done much better and faster by technology and machinery. So you have to be creative in the mindset in building a business, and you have to be culturalized into the development of your own self. Because if you get successful monetarily, and you don't have a so-called army around you of people that's supportive of you, would have political power as well as supportive power, then you can be squashed. If you think about it, uh, you can't name any black successful business that has a cultural mindset of self-development anymore. They don't exist. There's it used to be S.B. Fuller, who came out of Ouachita Parish, Louisiana, had a third grade education, built the largest business of black folk, um, of 5,000 people. He had an equivalent, he would have been a billionaire equivalent company at the time in the 50s and 60s, and he was squashed. You have you don't have the BET anymore. You don't have the essence anymore that you control. You don't have Reginald Lewis, the Beatrice anymore. You don't have you have a number of Nigerian multi-billionaires, but their emphasis is not where ours is at. They didn't experience chattel slavery, and you don't have. You take, for example, North Carolina Mutual, which was the largest black insurance company, is a shell of itself now. You see, comparatively, um, and and when you have advocates who become successful, they get squashed. I'm not for what allegedly P. Diddy did, but it's more to the story than just what you see on the eye. They find a way to bring you down. It's like with Jesse Jackson's son, and also with S.B. Fuller, they conjured up a lie about him selling illegal securities when everybody else was doing the same thing he was doing to be able to create capital. Because he was doing it for black people, they brought him against SEC, and they broke him pretty much, because they'll find a way to bring you down. Bill Cosby, the same way. He didn't have that problem until he was pulling together a conglomerate of black folks about CBS. And so my point is, we have an enemy, and it's an enemy that doesn't seem to be that strong, but yet it is strong because we don't know ourselves, we don't know our potential. So our company has a cultural, um, how can I say it, emphasis on culturalizing us mentally about who we are, and that you got to love yourself naked with nothing, with no bling, no cars, no house. You got to be able to love you before you can love. If you're loving external stuff, then you're not loving you. It's
Mm-hmm.
nice to have those things. Bling bling is good, cars are good, but if you're in the middle of a war and you're spending all of your extra money on self-grandizement, and
Mm,
you're not spending money on helping your people and collectively bringing together a movement
mhm,
to satisfy real freedom, then we are not doing what God sent us on this earth to do. Uh, you take revolutionaries like, I know it's a bad example. Most folk don't like it, but I understand it. You take Gaddafi. Uh, Gaddafi was for his people, but because he was for his people, controlling wealth and oil and giving it back, they snuffed him out.
mm,
And you had Bin Laden. He lived in caves because his goal was for his people. The
mhm,
money is a tool, not to be used just all for yourself.
mhm.
Right?
Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. Now let's go. So that's entrepreneurship. That's the reason why it's very important to have entrepreneurship. And I like that, what you were sharing, because it does start with a mindset and you have to start with self. So a lot of times when we're talking about entrepreneurship and business, we talk about that mindset. But I like how you put it about loving yourself with nothing and even being appreciative of for where you are before you can start to be successful. So why taxes? Well, you talked about that. Why CompuPro? How do you, what does your system offer? I know some of the things that we talked about, but why is your system a good opportunity for people to get started in entrepreneurship and growing their businesses?
Very good question. Well, the whole entrepreneurial system is built around the tax system.
Hmm.
And to understand uh, how to even budget, you need to understand certain principles of taxation and accounting.
Hmm.
But what we do is teach entrepreneurship utilizing tax and bookkeeping as a facilitating process. Let me explain what that means. Whereas you need to know taxes because when you get rich, and that's where your goal should be with a lot of money, then the tax man cometh. And if you don't do the right thing, you can lose everything because Sammy Davis Jr. Uh, died with nothing because the tax man got it. Red Fox died with nothing because the tax man got it. And many, many, many other of our celebrities and athletes uh, fall because they have no understanding of how the world works financially. So we teach financial literacy, we teach entrepreneurship, we teach marketing, and we teach a cultural understanding of who you are in order for you to get strong and to go through the gauntlet of life because you got to know about where you came from. And you didn't come from slaves, you were enslaved, but you came from uh, 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 prior to colonization of Africa, you came from a very rich society that produced everything in the world out of Africa. So you are a unique people. As Dr. Van Sertima said, that 55,000 years ago, there was nobody on earth except for Africans. And everybody came, all peoples came from the African gene
Hmm.
around the world, the Asians, the Caucasians, and all of the different peoples of the world. So we are a unique people, but we have been enslaved mentally and we are suffering from what I call an amnesiac state of mind where we have forgotten who we really are. And we are now begging the rich man, and like Lazarus, for crumbs from the table and think that's okay.
Hmm.
So we teach people, everybody don't get it, but at least we teach that there is a uh, God in you that's an extension of the Almighty that's on earth, sent here for a divine job to do. And you can't just play around and not do the job. You got to first discover what it is. So we teach the wholeness of yourself. We also teach balance that you need to, when you have a family, and I had to learn this myself because when I did learn it, I started involving my children and my wife in my business so that they would we would have a business that is not a dichotomy from itself. You
Mhm.
ought to have family time, and we would have my vacations would be around business, but it would be with the family pretty much.
Mhm.
So we have to have a balance in life to be successful. And then one must get a spiritual life. Uh, I'm not saying a religion, I'm saying a spiritual life, recognizing that God is within you, not outside, and to be able to recognize that God is in you.
Mhm.
So why taxes is because it is the thing that you need to know to be successful in any other business. So we teach entrepreneurship using taxes and bookkeeping as a facilitating process.
Okay.
Which would, if you went to an entrepreneurial school to learn this, you would pay $50,000, $60,000
Mm.
to get it.
Mhm. So, in this entrepreneurship, who's a good fit for it? Is it somebody that is a certain age? Is it somebody that's already had some type of business experience? Is it somebody that has not, has always worked a 9 to 5 and now maybe they've been laid off? Who is a good fit for this type of, for your, to take on this opportunity?
Well, the good fit is anyone who has the ninth grade
I can't hear you.
understanding. You can't
Come
hear
on.
me?
Yes. Okay. There we go.
A good fit is anyone who has the ninth grade understanding and they don't need experience coming into this business. We prefer them to come in as neophytes, not knowing nothing, just with a desire and a willingness to learn. And we can teach them because a
Hmm.
lot of people start off with bad habits. And then a lot of people don't understand that they can make more by on percentages than they do keeping it all. Because when you are keeping 100% of something and you're not successful with it to the nth degree, then you need to be part of a team. You
Hmm.
need to be part of a network that can teach you and be supportive.
Hmm.
Because we have people that receive percentages that make a lot more money than people who are 100% owners. But we prefer the neophytes, ones who just have a desire to want to have a second and third stream of income, and we go from there. And then God directs you as to what your path would be on through the sojourn, because you don't know really what you want to end up being, but you got to be in motion. You got to be doing something.
Hmm.
You got to be guided by a mentor and a
Hmm.
coach.
So how much time do you need to, like, because I know like people mostly are going to have other jobs or just because you have to live. How much time does it take to get started initially, like per hours per week or whatever, and then lengthwise before you would consider yourself up and running?
Well, very good question again. We have an online course that comes with a coach and a mentor. So you take the class at your own pace. We would like for one to complete the course online at their own pace within 2 to 4 weeks. All right, but then the course is not over. You go through the online portion. Then there's a coaching aspect of it, and if you allocate at least uh, an hour and a half to 2 hours per day in a 5 day setting, whenever that time is available, you can choose the time. Then you can get prepared for it. But doing tax season proper with the marketing and doing the taxes, you need about 15 hours a week.
Hmm.
Uh, and so you're talking about 2.5 to 3 hours a day,
Hmm.
and you can choose the time of the day that you can do it. Now, people have the time because it's filled with a lot of stuff that's not making any money. So you
Hmm.
have to allocate the time and sacrifice some of your stories and some of your television programs and some of your activity to make money.
Hmm. And so would they, I guess there's different options. Like, so it sounds like they could start out being sort of similar to like an H&R Block that just does basic taxes, but then can you learn more and maybe specialize in working with realtors, for example, or entrepreneurs or different types, or how does that, what's that pathway like?
We grow them. Matter of fact, they can start off as a neophyte, but because they have a coach with them that knows, and then they got a coach has a coach above them. So I don't care what kind of return it is, we can do it.
Mm,
And the key word is we. So you don't turn it down. You take it into the system. You may not make 100% of what you should be making, but you'll be sharing with the specialist and learning at the same time.
hmm hmm And do you need to have like a brick and mortar building? Would this be a home based business, or how? What are the options there?
You can grow into a home, into a brick and mortar. And you start,
Okay, I can't hear you.
I said you can grow into a brick and mortar,
Hmm
but you start off with a virtual tax office, and we've sort of perfected that, where we have everything within the confines of the law of being able to work from home, just like you had a brick and mortar, and
hmm
have a support system like ours. Because what H&R Block and other franchises do for you when you pay this hundreds of thousands of dollars, they only give you a system. But we give you a system to work with that's successful and a proven track record. And we have folk that work with you at any time of the day or night.
Okay. Okay. And then, so what is the investment to get started if somebody wanted to get started?
With a virtual tax office, you know, for under $3,000, you can have a turnkey of the software. Uh,
You could you start over? You were low.
okay. The initial investment of a virtual tax office is a little under $3,000.
Hmm
That includes the software. Now we subsidize because that's not the total cost. The total cost of this package is around $11,000.
hmm
But because we subsidize it as a company, you would have paid only around $3,000.
hmm
But it comes with software, and the software costs us $2,500 because you can do any type return with it. Then you get coaching with it. You get your email system. You get errors of omission with it, and you get the training and the coaching, and you get a rollback, and you get marketing material. It's a whole turnkey package that's worth about 11,000 that you can get for 3,000. And
hmm
then certain situations, we know one can uh, pay a certain amount uh, and maybe half, and then pay the other half if there's a problem, or they can pay it in one third, one third, one third. And but then there's a little financing agreement extra, not much, to do that. But we all the time we be working with you, get you ready for prime time in January. But it starts now. Our August, our recruiting periods are August through September because you got to have at least 3 months to get all of this down the way it should to be successful.
hmm
Yes.
Okay. And then how would somebody find you? Where do they need to go to get more information, to sign up?
Okay. Well, I can give you the email address, and one can go to. I can send you stuff to send out. Um, you can go to jmayfield at comprotax.net and ask for a meeting. Email me and ask for a meeting. We can do a Zoom meeting and I can explain. I'll give you my cell number, and my cell number, I keep it by design full so I can see what calls come in that I will return your call immediately. Uh, and because you can't leave a message, you can leave a message on my email, but I get so many calls per day that it's almost impossible to take my time to start deleting them all. So I just leave them on and I see the calls I miss and I will return the calls. But the number is 409-720-9335.
409-720-9335. Okay.
Can the audience see a picture? I showed our home office in Beaumont.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Could I share my a picture of my home office in Beaumont, Texas?
I think you should be able to share your screen. I'm still learning this system, but go ahead and see if you can share your screen. You should be able to.
Okay, which one will allow that? I believe
And your voice is going out.
voices are going
There,
out.
there you go. You came back in.
Um, what icon do I click on to share my screen? Do you
Hmm.
have to give me permission?
Let's see.
Can you
Um,
can you pull up? Just go to um, Compro Center in Beaumont, Texas. Compro Event Center in Beaumont, Texas.
look, I'm gonna type
Compro,
that in there.
yeah,
Compro.
Compro Event Center in Beaumont, Texas.
You know what? I'm actually not sure. I don't know how to share my screen on this system. So let's see. Cannot. Yeah, I don't know how to share. Oh, here we go. There we go. Let's see. Hmm. Um, you know what? That's something I better practice before I try to do that here. So I can get the link and share that link, and then people can see it.
Oh, that'd be great. How
Uh,
many
Say
participants?
one more time.
How many participants online now?
Um, I can't. So we're on about five different platforms. We're on a couple of Facebook pages, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So I don't have all of them up to be able to tell how many people, but I know that a lot of people do go back and watch um, the system. So I can search that and put it in the chat for everybody.
Okay. Do the search for Compro Event Center in Beaumont, Texas. Compro Event Center, Beaumont, Texas. Uh, you can pull that up and find the ER, URL line. Um, and you can share that.
Okay. All right. I'm going to find that. Okay. I did the banquet hall. It says Compro Event Center. So I'm going to share that link in the chat so that people can see that. And then they can reach you in one of those means, either email or call you. And I will say that as soon as I called, you took my call. So I appreciate you taking my call and talking to me and sharing a little bit about the business and the opportunity immediately. So I definitely appreciate that. And I did put that link in the chat. So it's just comproevent.com so people can go and see that center.
Anybody have questions? Are you able on this platform to answer questions?
Let me see if there's any questions. And if anybody does have questions, if you're watching live, feel free to drop them in the chat. I am trying to get on here and I will see if I can see them. And if not, you can still go back and put them in the chat and I can get back with Dr. Mayfield and get them. Audrey Muhammad said this man has so much wisdom. He has an excellent tax business. They're even offering a course for those interested in learning how to prepare taxes. So we did have one comment. But if there's any questions, if anybody has any questions after, if you're watching the replay, feel free to drop those questions in the chat and I'll make sure we get them to Dr. Mayfield. And you have the phone number and the email address to reach out to him directly. And I will say from firsthand that he is very responsive to sharing this information. And it's an excellent opportunity. If you think about starting a new business, $3,000 investment, and you have some payment options, you can't start a business that can net you the returns because taxes are going to be here. That's one of those things that's all everybody every year is going to need to do their taxes. And I don't think AI is going to come in and take over that. What do you think? You think AI is going to be able to come in and do your taxes for you?
No, because there's a question and answer. AI can give information that's pretty accurate, but it won't be able to just. You got to be able to ask questions, and you have to be able to probe to get the right information from people to do their returns properly and to maximize their return or lessen their tax burden.
So, and I know this is a very broad question, so you can answer or not as much as you can. If somebody were to start this business realistically in the first year, or how soon could they expect to see a return on their investment? And do you have a ballpark of what that would be, like as far as like income wise?
Like, let me give you a sports analogy. You got people go into playing basketball, football. They go to training camp, and they've been playing all their life, and it takes them sometime uh, 2 years to develop and to get the big contract. But they come in making some money, but it depends on the skill level of people and their mindset and their willingness to follow. Um, to give you a definite answer, we have had people, I can all talk about experience. We've
Hmm.
had people that come in and make in that first year uh, 30, 40, $50,000
Hmm.
during the tax season.
Hmm.
We've had people that come in and make a few $1,000s. We've had people that come in and learn, and because of fear, they didn't make hardly nothing. But then that same example, the next 2, 3 years, they did quite well. And one of those examples who came in and hardly did nothing is Jenny Mickles, who's on the board of directors and one of our top producers.
Hmm.
You see, so it all depends on when things click. But you gotta get started. When you go to college, you're spending 4 years or so learning, and you're not making any money in your field.
Hmm. That's correct.
All right. Well, here, I guarantee if you spend at least a year with the first year, you're gonna make some money. But I can get you to make big money um, in a good 3 to 4 year plan of action. I mean, huge money because our system is not just based on you doing the taxes. If you want to upscale the business, we have a model that can help you to recruit and develop other people where you receive overrides. You can become as big as H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt, and Liberty Tax because our system is just as expansive. So if you're really looking to get rich, you can here, but it's not an overnight process of getting rich.
Hmm.
Nothing is,
Hmm.
you see, but it's there.
Hmm.
I've we've had people um, make as much as $100,000 in a week with us. You
Hmm.
know, they didn't start off doing that. We've had people that have a gross revenue of a agency they built of $3 million a year. You
Hmm.
see, so uh, it's in the numbers. It's in the. We cannot minimize the fact that it's in the mind of the people. That's why we work so hard on development of mind
Hmm.
because we have fear we have to deal with people. We have the lack of confidence in
Hmm.
themselves.
Hmm.
We have the whole package. We don't. One thing we have as a motto, we care. We care that everybody we bring in succeed, and we work with you, and we have people in our company at upper levels that really seriously care about you succeeding in this business.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
this business is transferable. It's not like you learn to do taxes and that's it. What you're going to learn is about entrepreneurship as well, and it's transferable to any other business you would like to go into. We have people who in the tax business have other businesses that they're successful in because of the tax business.
Hmm.
We have people who are, like Fred Zeno, has an insurance agency. Um, he has uh, a large cake sells utensils. He used to be a caterer, and he has a store in his office where he owns. A lot of our people own their own offices.
Hmm.
I mean, literally own their own offices, but they
Hmm.
didn't start off that way. We teach people to be self sufficient, but collectively, because nothing has power by yourself. It's got to be a group of mindsets that's on the same wavelength you're on.
Okay. And so could a group of people go in together and start this business together, or should it just be an individual, or how does that work? Can't hear you.
Right. And that's the best way because you can start off with the most success because the group can then formulate getting trained and getting into a brick and mortar and have their own stations within the brick and mortar and work together collectively.
Hmm.
We got started as a group, the founders of the company,
Hmm.
uh, and we built the first multi faceted office complex in Beaumont that was black.
Hmm.
And to work together, you know, we had uh, professional secretaries in it, we had accountants in it, we had the lawyers, we had real estate people, we had insurance people, we had the tax folk, we had a whole successful organization within this complex that was working together with one another.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. So that's good because you can set the cost. Now, I guess you would help them, or do they need to already come with their business structure? Because we know in business you need to have some type of understanding. I can't.
We have the structure for them.
You have the structure for them. Okay.
If they come with the willingness, the mindset, recognizing that nothing is easy, but it's worth it,
Hmm.
and ready to go through the gauntlet that God set in our path. Because anytime you say, I'm gonna, there's another opposite force that no, you're not. So we
Hmm.
teach you how to go through that gauntlet.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I'm excited. I really appreciate you taking the time today to share this opportunity. Like I said, I'm a entrepreneur at heart. Been doing this for a long time as well, and it's not for the faint of heart. You gotta be ready for it because a lot of people are used to knowing that there's going to be a paycheck on the first and the 15th or every other week or whatever, and one of the attorneys that I work with, he's like their mantra is you kill it, you eat it. So you got to kill it to eat it. So, and that's what it is. But it can be so rewarding. But you got to be ready to go through those ups and downs. So it is very good to have a support system to work with you in whatever business that you get into because somebody else knows what you don't know, and if you can learn from somebody else's mistakes without having to go through it yourself, that is always a benefit. I mean, you're going to have your trials and tribulations, but having that support system is invaluable.
Yeah, I would certainly like for us to have a conversation about Durham whenever you got a chance. And I
Yes.
think we can make Durham and Raleigh um, very successful.
Okay, let's do that. We'll do that. We'll schedule that. So, any final closing words or encouragement to people that are thinking about it or, not sure they want to do a business, but not sure how to get started or if they should or have some fear? The-
Let me say this that oftentimes we pray for God to bless us in many ways.
Mhm.
But the problem I found with most people, God is constantly blessing them through people that they overlook
Mm.
and through opportunities that come their way. They decide, I'll think on it and pray on it. But when you look inside of your spirit, God is always answering your prayers. We just don't like the way He's answering it.
Mhm.
So you got to look at the fact that the way I see it, if you're listening to this broadcast, uh, your prayers are being answered. You just don't know how. You cannot see all of the road between here and California, But if you have a goal to go to California, you jump in your car, you gas up, and you go. But
Mm,
along the way, you're going to run into some detours. You may even have a breakdown, but you don't stop
mhm,
towards your goal.
mhm,
You keep on going. And then there are people that God sent in your life. As long as you're moving, there are a lot of angelic guides that God sent in my life because I was in motion. I
mhm,
didn't know how I was going to get to a place. I just knew I was going. And
mhm.
along the way, many people has helped me to get there. But you can't get there sitting on your couch. You got to be in motion. You got to get up and go. And you'll be surprised how God will bless you along the way with all the help you need.
Absolutely. Make your move. That's my mantra. Make your move because every step counts. So that sounds like exactly what you're saying. So
It's
I
correct.
again I appreciate you joining us. I did want to just make one quick announcement for Make Your Move and Triangle Wealthy Group. This Saturday, we are hosting Keys to Selling for Top Dollar. So, if you're a homeowner, if you're thinking about selling your home, or if you actually want to know how to use the equity in your home to leverage it, maybe to start a business or buy another house or whatever, go to twgpresents.com and register to join us for this event. We'll have a lender there to talk about that leveraging and getting it set up. We have an appraiser to give you some ideas. And we have a home stager and obviously a listing agent. So join us this Saturday. It will be at New American Funding in the RTP from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And again, you can register at twgpresents.com. So thank you again, Dr. Mayfield, for joining me today and just giving these encouraging words and providing this opportunity for people to have a business in an industry that will never go away. So I appreciate you for joining me today and look forward to talking to you about growing Durham.
We're looking forward to it. And call me as soon as possible and set up time.
Okay, I think you said call you as soon as possible because your voice was a little low again.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I will do that. Or everybody have a great week. Make it a successful week, and we'll see you on next Monday for more Make Your Move Monday. Remember to make your move because every step counts.